The galaxy was quiet but not peaceful. Across the stars, alien empires monitored each other, always alert for weakness or opportunity. Yet, among them one signal stood out, a signal from a tiny blue planet called Earth. It was faint, almost unremarkable, but something about it made the intelligence analysts uneasy. For centuries humans had been dismissed. Primitive, fragile, slow. The databases of every major empire listed them as harmless, unworthy of attention. But now reports were coming in, strange energy readings, inexplicable structures, and sudden technological bursts far beyond what should have been possible for such a species. The Empress of the Tyrillian Empire leaned over her holographic table, her multiple eyes narrowing. "These readings, they are not normal," she hissed. "Humans should not be able to survive that. Their planet should be devastated by now." Her advisors buzzed around her, scanning data feeds from across the galaxy. "We have observed disasters," one murmured. "Meteor impacts, solar flares, massive storms. Other species would have been wiped out. Yet Earth remains intact. Humans adapt. They survive. Somehow, they thrive." The Empress's mandibles clicked in irritation. "Send scouts," she ordered. "Send discreet, untraceable scouts. I want to see what they are hiding. I want proof of their weakness, or their death." And so, in the silent reaches of space, tiny alien ships slipped past detection fields and into the solar system. They hovered just beyond the orbit of Jupiter, masked in energy fields and cloaked against human sensors. Their crews were experts in observation, predators of intelligence trained to study, not interfere. From their hidden vantage points, the scouts began to record. They watched the humans below, expecting primitive settlements and faltering technology. Instead, they saw strange machines working in perfect harmony, energy grids that seemed impossible, and structures buried deep beneath the surface, alive in ways the aliens could not comprehend. One scout operator gasped. "They're underground cities, they are enormous, and powered somehow. The readings are off the charts. It is not just survival, it is advancement." Another nodded grimly. "And look at their patterns. They move with coordination as if the entire planet is aware of itself. Every disaster we expected to cripple them, they adapt faster than we can calculate. Faster than logic allows." Back in the Galactic Council chambers, panic spread like wildfire. The intelligence feeds from the scouts were direct, raw, and undeniable. Alien leaders of multiple empires gathered in emergency sessions, their databases updating in real time. Every history file, every record, every strategic protocol was rewritten to include the new threat: humans. The head of the Zorvani Federation slammed her clawed hand on the table. "How can this be? Their species is young. They should not survive 1/3 of the threats we have seen. And yet, here they are, intact. Stronger than before. Smarter than expected." Data analysts scrolled through centuries of failed predictions. "Every major disaster," one said, voice trembling, "they have endured. The energy pulses, the natural catastrophes. Nothing kills them. Nothing weakens them." A murmur ran through the assembly. "Could it be," someone whispered, "that we have underestimated them all this time?" The scouts continued their silent vigil. From orbit, they observed humans constructing massive satellites that seemed to respond to cosmic events. They saw underground complexes that could withstand earthquakes, tsunamis, and even energy strikes from orbit. Humans worked together without panic, adapting in ways no alien species had ever managed. One scout pilot, whose species had dominated hundreds of star systems, clenched his claws in disbelief. "They are terrifying. Not because they are strong yet, but because they learn. They change. They survive. And I cannot predict their next move." The reports were compiled and transmitted back to the empires. Every empire received the same warning, the same undeniable conclusion. The data was precise, cold, and shocking. "Earth is not to be challenged." The phrase flashed across every military screen, every council database, and every intelligence archive. It became a rule, an order, a fear. The galaxy paused. For the first time, a species once dismissed as primitive had forced every empire to take notice. Not as a curiosity, not as a threat to be studied, but as an apex unknown. Yet on Earth, humans went about their day, unaware of the alarm they had caused. Children laughed in playgrounds. Scientists debated theories. Farmers tended their fields. Life went on, simple and ordinary to those who lived it, but extraordinary to those watching from the stars. The scouts left orbit slowly, their data recorded, their minds burdened with the impossible. Somewhere in the depths of the galaxy, leaders stared at the same words again and again, the cold, unyielding truth settling in. Never challenge Earth. And with that, a silent alert echoed across the cosmos. A warning born not of war but of respect and fear, a warning that would shape the galaxy's future. Humans, blissfully unaware, continued to survive, to adapt, and to thrive. And the galaxy for the first time began to realize they were not dealing with a simple species anymore. The galaxy had whispered of Earth for decades, dismissing it as harmless. Now, whispers had become murmurs and murmurs had become alarms. Alien empires updated their archives, each entry carrying the same chilling phrase, "Never challenge Earth." It was a warning repeated in every military database, every political chamber, every intelligence archive. Yet, not every empire chose to believe it. Pride ran deep among alien civilizations. Many refused to accept that a primitive species could survive disasters, outsmart fleets, and adapt faster than the galaxy's most advanced technologies. They are still young, some leaders insisted. We simply cannot imagine their full potential yet. Meanwhile, humans remained unaware of the attention, or the fear, they inspired. On Earth, life carried on as usual. Engineers repaired orbital stations, scientists monitored strange energy pulses, and governments quietly upgraded their defenses, not for war but for preparation. Yet, every action was a step beyond the aliens' expectations. Across the void, small fleets of alien scouts attempted covert reconnaissance. They approached Earth carefully, expecting primitive settlements and easily defeated defense systems. But what they found instead shook them to their core. Entire cities pulsed with energy shields, imperceptible to alien scanners at first glance. Underground networks stretched for hundreds of kilometers, bristling with automated defenses and silent machinery. Humans moved through these spaces with precision, coordinating without visible communication, anticipating challenges before they even appeared. One alien observer, assigned to monitor Earth from orbit, whispered to his companion, "They are organized. Too organized. Every structure, every movement, it's as if the planet itself responds to them." The companion, a veteran of a dozen interstellar campaigns, froze. And yet, they are still the same species. The same fragile, unremarkable humans we dismissed. How can they do this? Above them, the first test came. A small alien drone attempted a minor disruption in one of the orbiting satellites. The humans reacted instantly. The drone's signals were jammed, redirected, and ultimately neutralized, without a single human in direct danger. The scout recording this event leaned closer to his controls. "They anticipate," he murmured. "They learn instantly. Every tactic we try, they adjust before it even reaches them. They are not just surviving, they are outthinking us." Back in the Empire's war councils, debates raged. Some leaders called for caution. "We must not provoke them," one said. "Their response is unpredictable and we cannot calculate the consequences." Others, driven by arrogance, dismissed the warnings. "These humans are still minor," a general snapped. "We have fleets 10 times larger. We will see if their legends are true." Secret missions were dispatched. Spy ships crept into the solar system, hoping to gather intelligence or create chaos. Each one met the same fate: confusion, interference, and total invisibility to human defenses. Drones were redirected, sensors disrupted, and communication signals scrambled in ways that no alien technology could explain. On Earth, humans never sought confrontation. They treated these minor intrusions as anomalies to be studied and contained. Their calm, measured approach unnerved the alien scouts the most. For the first time, an observer realized something terrifying. Humans did not react with panic, they reacted with strategy. "Every species we know," one scout reported back to their fleet, "would either flee or attack blindly. Humans adapt." The scout's report rippled across alien databases. Across thousands of light years, leaders read the same words and felt the same cold fear. Some refused to believe it, others quietly acknowledged it. "If the humans survive this level of attention," a counselor said grimly, "then we may have underestimated the very apex of the galaxy." Then came the first real test. A minor skirmish occurred near the asteroid belts of the outer solar system. A rogue alien ship attempted to intercept a human mining convoy. The aliens expected an easy victory, a simple demonstration of superior firepower. They were wrong. Humans coordinated from multiple satellites and orbital stations. Automated defense drones moved in perfect timing, forcing the alien ship to retreat. Communication from the humans was minimal, their movements silent but deadly precise. The alien commander's sensors registered something impossible: humans were predicting their maneuvers. Every evasive action, every countermeasure, calculated before the aliens could even act. Across the galaxy, fleets paused. News of the failed assault spread quickly, reaching councils, academies, and war rooms. The record was clear. Humans were not only surviving, they were outthinking seasoned alien strategists. Back on Earth, life continued normally. Children played, engineers designed, scientists theorized. Humanity did not brag, did not declare dominance. They simply learned, adapted, and prepared as they always had. And in doing so, they created a legend, one that would ripple through every empire, every fleet, and every database. The scouts returned to their superiors with a single chilling phrase: Earth is not to be challenged. It was not a threat. It was a fact. The galaxy paused, humbled and fearful. For the first time, a species once considered insignificant had forced the cosmos to take notice and rethink everything it thought it knew about power, survival, and intelligence. And humanity, blissfully unaware, continued to exist quietly on its blue planet, preparing for nothing, yet ready for everything. The galaxy was tense. Everywhere, alien empires updated their databases with the same warning: never challenge Earth. Yet, some stubborn leaders refused to believe it. Pride clouded their judgment. The idea that humans, a young, fragile species, could survive, adapt, and outthink advanced civilizations seemed impossible. A minor fleet of the Graal Dominion, known for its swift and ruthless tactics, was dispatched to test Earth. They did not intend to destroy it, only to probe its defenses. To them, it would be a simple demonstration of power, a warning to humans and a show to the galaxy. The humans, however, were ready. Not because they sought war, but because preparation was in their nature. They had been quietly building defensive fleets, coordinating orbital stations, and training personnel in strategies that no alien species could anticipate. The Graal fleet entered the solar system under the cover of darkness, cloaked and silent. Sensors were swept for signs of human activity, but what they found was unsettling. Satellites moved in perfect formation, orbital defenses seemed to anticipate every approach, and energy signatures were unlike anything the Graals had studied before. Captain Vera of the Graal fleet frowned. "This is unusual," she muttered to her officers. "They are not hiding, they are observing us. But how can they see through our cloaking?" On Earth, human commanders monitored the intruding fleet calmly. Screens lit with alien coordinates, trajectories, and fleet formations. Analysts calculated probabilities, but they did not panic. Every action they took was measured, deliberate, and precise. Humans were not reacting, they were predicting. The first shots came in the form of energy pulses aimed at the outer satellites. The aliens expected chaos, confusion, maybe even panic. Instead, they were met with perfectly timed countermeasures. Defensive drones intercepted the pulses, redirecting them harmlessly into space. Energy shields flared to life at just the right moment, neutralizing the attacks without harming a single human. The aliens were stunned. They anticipated our strike," one officer exclaimed. "How is this possible?" The humans, however, had more than defense. They had strategy. Using a combination of orbital satellites, automated drone squadrons, and carefully timed energy fields, they began to pressure the alien fleet. Small disruptions caused confusion in alien formations. Communication lines were jammed intermittently, leaving the Graal ships disoriented. Captain Vera gritted her teeth. "These humans, they are adapting faster than our simulations predicted." Then came the turning point. A single human command ship appeared from behind the asteroid belt, cloaked in its own shadows. It launched a precision strike, not to destroy but to disable. Engines of the lead alien ship were fried, weapon systems shut down, and sensors scrambled. The Graal fleet, trained for decades, was suddenly blind, powerless, and forced into retreat. Across the galaxy, intelligence officers received the news. "The humans," one whispered, voice shaking, "they did not just defend, they outmaneuvered a fleet. A trained, elite fleet." The council chambers of rival empires erupted in shock. Files were updated, new protocols written, and emergency meetings called. For centuries, humans had been underestimated. Now the truth was undeniable: they were strategic, adaptive, and terrifyingly intelligent. The Graal fleet limped back to its home system, humiliated but alive. Captain Vera sent a report to her superiors, concise and stark: "Earth is not to be challenged. Any further aggression is ill-advised." On Earth, life returned to normal. Analysts debriefed, engineers repaired minor damages, and civilians remained unaware of how close they had come to a galactic test of fire. Humanity had not sought confrontation, yet it had demonstrated a level of power that no alien species could ignore. The scouts who had once observed from the shadows now transmitted their reports openly. Across thousands of light years, alien commanders read the same phrase repeatedly: never challenge Earth. It was no longer just a warning, it was a command, a truth engraved in the consciousness of the galaxy. Yet humans remained humble. They did not celebrate dominance, nor did they declare victory. Their focus was survival, adaptation, and learning. That quiet strength, the ability to act decisively without pride or fear, was what made them extraordinary. For the aliens, the realization was terrifying. A species once dismissed as insignificant had just proven it could outthink, outmaneuver, and outfight a trained fleet. And in that moment, the galaxy understood that humans were no longer a minor species. They were a force to be reckoned with. The first confrontation was over, but the message had been sent. Humans were unpredictable, strategic, and unyielding. Every empire would remember this day. Every council would record it. Every military database would mark it. Earth is not to be challenged. And with that, a new chapter began. One where the galaxy would watch humans carefully, not out of curiosity but out of fear and respect. Humanity, calm and unaware, continued to thrive, its quiet power rippling unseen across the stars. The galaxy had begun to change. Whispers about Earth were no longer casual. They had become warnings repeated in every council, fleet, and military archive. Alien empires updated their central databases, a single phrase flashing across millions of screens: never challenge Earth. Yet not all leaders obeyed blindly. Pride and arrogance lingered in the hearts of many. Some dismissed the warnings as overblown. "These humans are clever, yes," said Admiral Threx of the Karani Collective, his multi-jointed claws tapping on the table, "but they are still young. Their planet is tiny. Their fleets are small. We have nothing to fear." Others, however, were not so sure. Observations from scout ships, reports of failed probing attacks, and the recent defeat of the Growl fleet had shaken the galaxy's confidence. Intelligence officers argued, data analysts presented simulations, and historians scrolled through centuries of recorded human survival. Every empire began to realize a terrifying truth: humans were unpredictable, intelligent, and incredibly resilient. Meanwhile, on Earth, life continued without fanfare. Humans did not celebrate their growing reputation across the stars, nor did they issue challenges. They were focused on survival, adaptation, and quiet preparation. Deep underground, scientists refined energy grids, engineers upgraded orbital defenses, and fleets trained for contingencies that no one else could imagine. Alien attempts to test Earth continued, but each mission ended in failure. Scout ships disappeared without warning, fleets sent to probe defenses returned crippled, and spies were either captured or lost. Each incident reinforced the same lesson across empires: humans were not just survivors, they were strategists. The Karani Collective attempted a stealth attack near the outer planets. Cloaked ships moved silently toward the asteroid belt, expecting no resistance. Humans, however, anticipated the incursion. Satellites in orbit adjusted instantly, automated drones moved in precise patterns, and communication interference left the alien fleet blind. "Impossible," muttered Commander Ralix of the Karani Collective. "They react before we even engage. How can they know?" The attack failed spectacularly. Alien ships were forced to retreat, leaving behind damaged technology and a clear message: the humans were aware, prepared, and unstoppable in defense. Across the galaxy, intelligence networks recorded the event. The warning repeated in every database: never challenge Earth. In council chambers, debates raged. "We have underestimated them for too long," one elder admitted. "They do not fight like any other species. Their strategy is unlike anything we know." "But they are still humans," another argued. "They are young. They cannot be as powerful as you claim." The evidence, however, was irrefutable. Alien fleets were learning to fear a species that had once been dismissed. Their central archives updated automatically, embedding the warning in every protocol, fleet directive, and political mandate. Across thousands of star systems, the phrase became law: never challenge Earth. Humans, unaware of their rising legend, continued to expand their knowledge. They tested new energy systems, simulated fleet strategies, and trained for emergencies that no other species could imagine. To them it was ordinary work. To the galaxy it was extraordinary. Reports from alien scouts described humans as precise, calm, and intelligent. They did not attack without reason. They did not act recklessly. But when provoked, they responded with swift, calculated force. Every fleet that approached Earth learned this lesson the hard way. Every empire must take note, a Zorvani strategist said, staring at the recent scout reports. If one of our fleets challenges Earth, it will fail. The humans are not just defenders, they are masters of adaptation. Alien leaders, despite their pride, began to respect the warning. Military exercises were halted. Probes were recalled. Fleets were instructed to maintain distance. The phrase, "never challenge Earth," was no longer advice, it was command. And yet, for humans, life was simple. They focused on learning, exploring, and improving their world. They did not seek power, dominance, or fame. Their strength was quiet, hidden in plain sight, yet it spread fear across the stars without a single declaration of war. As the empires adjusted their records, fleets, and strategies, the galaxy came to a silent agreement. Humans were untouchable, not because they claimed to be, but because they had proven it without aggression. And in every council chamber, in every command room, across thousands of light years, alien species recorded the same truth again and again. Never challenge Earth. The galaxy had learned its lesson. A species once underestimated had reshaped the cosmic order, and the consequences would be felt for generations. Humanity, as always, remained unaware of the fear they inspired, quietly thriving on their blue planet, prepared for anything yet provoking nothing. The galaxy had learned one truth: humans were not to be challenged. Every empire's database repeated it like a commandment: never challenge Earth. And yet, the humans themselves remained unaware of the fear they had inspired. They did not seek conflict, but they did not shy away from power when the need arose. In the outer reaches of the solar system, alien fleets moved cautiously, trying to monitor human activity. They expected ordinary resistance, perhaps a minor setback if anything. They did not expect strategy. They did not expect humans to act first. Humans had begun quietly exploring uncharted sectors, using knowledge gleaned from alien probes, signals, and technologies they had observed over decades. They moved with precision, their ships faster, smarter, and more adaptable than anyone imagined. Where alien fleets had seen territory to conquer, humans saw opportunity to observe, learn, and turn the tables. The first major operation was near the Remar asteroid belt, where a rogue alien fleet had tried to assert control over the mining stations. Humans responded not with brute force but with strategy. They positioned small squadrons in hidden orbits, activated energy traps, and used decoys to confuse the aliens. When the aliens struck, expecting easy victories, they were met with perfect countermeasures. Communications were jammed in precise bursts, weapon systems disrupted by unseen interference, and ships disabled with surgical accuracy. Not a single human vessel was lost. Commander Lee, aboard the human flagship, observed the battle calmly. "Focus on the weak points," he said to his officers. "Let them believe they have the advantage. We will show them our strength without fighting blindly." The aliens were stunned. Their warships were superior in number and firepower, yet the humans controlled every aspect of the battle. One by one, alien ships were disabled, engines fried, sensors scrambled. The humans had not attacked recklessly, they had exploited weaknesses, anticipated movements, and outmaneuvered the fleet entirely. Across the galaxy, alien intelligence feeds recorded the operation in real time. Analysts watched in disbelief as the humans demonstrated not just defense, but precise tactical mastery. For decades, alien species had considered themselves the apex of strategy. Now they were being outsmarted by a species they had once dismissed as fragile. The Grail Dominion, still recovering from its previous encounter, issued emergency commands. Recall all fleets near the solar system. Reassess. Humans cannot be challenged, they cannot be predicted. Yet, some commanders still doubted, blinded by pride. They could not yet accept that humans had turned from passive defenders into proactive strategists. Meanwhile, humans continued quietly. They repaired minor damages, resupplied fleets, and returned captured technology to their research teams. There was no celebration, no boastful declaration. Every action was calculated, precise, and focused on understanding the galaxy's threats before they could become real dangers. A Zorvani counselor, reviewing scout reports, spoke with a trembling voice. "They are not only defending themselves, they are controlling the battlefield before it even begins. This is unlike anything we have ever seen." As the human fleets withdrew, they left a clear message for the galaxy. Earth did not wait to be attacked. Earth acted with intelligence, precision, and restraint. Every alien empire recorded this lesson immediately, updating strategies and protocols. Never challenge Earth, was no longer just a warning, it was a law of survival, a truth engraved in the galaxy's memory. Even among the proudest empires, doubt and fear began to grow. Could a species this young and seemingly ordinary truly hold such power? And if they could survive against elite fleets and advanced technology, what else might humans be capable of? Back on Earth, civilians went about their day, unaware of how far their species' reputation had spread. Scientists continued experiments, engineers built new ships, and strategists studied alien movements with care. Humanity did not seek dominance, yet their actions reshaped galactic balance without a single boast. The message from the humans was clear: strength was not only measured by fleets or weapons, but by intelligence, adaptability, and the ability to act decisively. The galaxy had learned a terrifying lesson: underestimate humans at your own peril. As alien fleets regrouped and empires debated, the databases across the stars recorded the same phrase repeatedly, a silent warning to all: never challenge Earth. For the humans, life continued as it always had, quiet, focused, and vigilant. For the galaxy, a new era had begun, one where humans were no longer underestimated, no longer dismissed, and no longer ignored. The tables had turned, and the galaxy was only beginning to realize the scale of the force it faced. Across the galaxy, the message could no longer be ignored: never challenge Earth. It was no longer a suggestion, no longer a precaution, it was a fact. A species once dismissed as weak, primitive, and unremarkable had forced every empire to pause, reconsider, and fear. Alien fleets moved carefully, scanning the edges of human territory, yet avoiding direct contact. Every empire revised its strategies, rewriting centuries of doctrine. Maps were redrawn, fleets repositioned, and war plans shelved. Every intelligence officer, historian, and fleet commander knew the truth: humans were unpredictable, relentless, and far beyond what anyone had anticipated. In the high council chambers of the Tyrillian Empire, the Empress stared at her holographic display, multiple eyes wide in disbelief. Every fleet we send, she said, every scout, every probe, Earth anticipates it. They do not attack blindly. They control the battle before it begins. And yet, they show restraint. Why? Her advisor, trembling, replied, because they are not like other species. They are not motivated by pride or conquest, but by strategy. They prepare, they adapt, and they strike with precision only when necessary. We cannot predict their next move. Meanwhile, on Earth, humans continued their quiet work. Ships patrolled the borders of the solar system, satellites monitored unusual energy fluctuations, and scientists experimented with technology recovered from alien scouts. They did not know the galaxy was watching, nor did they care. Their focus was simple: readiness, learning, and survival. But the galaxy noticed. Alien empires began to communicate more cautiously. Councils convened in emergency sessions, reviewing reports of humans outmaneuvering fleets, disabling advanced warships, and controlling battles without a single loss. Diplomats hesitated before sending messages. Ambassadors paused before opening comms. The unspoken fear was clear: no one could challenge Earth, and any aggression could be fatal. The Graal Dominion, still recovering from previous confrontations, attempted to send a small, elite fleet to the outer planets. It was meant as a test, a show of strength. Yet, even before the ships left their home system, satellite observations and sensor readings indicated that humans were already aware. Their preparations were precise, timing perfect. When the fleet entered the outer solar system, they found themselves in a trap, not a lethal one, but humiliating and unavoidable. Engines were disrupted, sensors scrambled, and communication links cut. They were forced to retreat. Commander Vera's report was simple, concise, and chilling: Earth is not to be challenged. Any engagement is impossible to predict. Any action risks total failure. Across thousands of light years, the same message echoed in council chambers, war rooms, and intelligence databases. Every empire recorded it, every fleet noted it, every political body accepted it. Humans had not sought war, yet they had forced the galaxy to bow to a new reality. Their power was absolute, not in domination but in intelligence, adaptation, and restraint. Alien historians scrambled to update their records. Centuries of conventional wisdom about apex species, technological superiority, and interstellar strategy were rewritten. Humans were now classified as a unique apex species, one that could survive disasters, outthink advanced civilizations, and strike with precision without warning. In the quiet of Earth, humanity remained humble. Scientists debated theories, engineers built ships, and fleets trained for contingencies that no one else could imagine. They did not need recognition or glory. Their strength lay in their calm, measured approach. Every fleet, every defense, every strategy was designed not to provoke fear, but to ensure survival. And yet, fear had spread. Across the galaxy, leaders hesitated. Diplomats approached Earth with caution. Military commanders double-checked their simulations. Every empire, whether proud or humble, had learned the same lesson. Humans were not just a species, they were a force, the likes of which the galaxy had never seen. The Tyrillian Empress leaned back in her council chair, mandibles clicking in thought. "We cannot engage them," she said finally. "We cannot predict them. We cannot fight them. All we can do is respect the warning." The databases of every empire flashed with the familiar phrase, repeated as if etched into the fabric of the galaxy itself. Never challenge Earth. The galaxy had realized the truth. Humans were apex predators in their own right, not through brute strength, not through fear, but through intelligence, strategy, and adaptability. Every fleet commander, every diplomat now knew, aggression toward Earth was suicide. And on their small blue planet, humans continued to thrive, oblivious to the fear they inspired. They explored, they learned, they prepared. Their power was quiet, hidden in plain sight, yet it radiated across the stars, reshaping galactic order without a single boast. The realization was complete. Earth was untouchable, and the galaxy had no choice but to acknowledge it. The galaxy had changed forever. Every empire, every fleet, and every council chamber now carried the same warning, etched like law into every database: never challenge Earth. Once underestimated and dismissed as weak, humans had risen silently, steadily, and without boast. Their quiet strength now cast a shadow across the stars. Alien leaders still debated the cause of humanity's power. Some believed it was intelligence unmatched by any other species. Others thought it was strategy, precision, and adaptability. Few admitted the truth. Humans had achieved a mastery that no empire had seen before, a combination of courage, innovation, and restraint that made them untouchable. Across the galaxy, fleets paused when Earth was mentioned. No one sent spies, no one launched surprise attacks. Even diplomats approached with caution, their messages carefully worded, their fleets kept at a distance. Humanity's reputation was no longer a rumor, it was a fact. On Earth, humans continued their lives as they always had. Children played in schoolyards, engineers worked in orbital stations, and scientists experimented with energy grids and exploration technologies. They did not know the extent of the fear they inspired. To them it was simply life, learning, improving, preparing. Yet the galaxy was watching. Alien fleets that once would have attacked were now cautious, hesitant, and respectful. The Graal Dominion had rebuilt its fleets, but they never ventured near the solar system without authorization. The Tyrillian Empress recorded the humans' abilities in her archives and added a personal note: "We must observe. We must respect. We cannot challenge them." Humans had not sought power, conquest, or dominance. Their rise was quiet, their victories measured. But in every encounter, whether defensive or observational, they had proven their intelligence and adaptability. The galaxy had learned an unforgettable lesson: underestimating humans was fatal. In the high council chambers of the Karani Collective, the elders spoke in hushed tones. "We must acknowledge them as apex strategists," one said. "Not because they rule through force, but because they see, think, and act with a precision we cannot match. Any aggression is too costly." Alien historians updated records that had stood for centuries. Humanity's achievements were catalogued, not for diplomacy, not for fear, but for truth. No species had survived so many disasters, outsmarted advanced fleets, and maintained restraint in the face of potential war. Humans were now classified as a singular force, strategic, intelligent, and apex in every way that mattered. Even rogue factions, those who had once mocked Earth or considered secret strikes, hesitated. Reports of failed incursions, disabled warships, and missing scout fleets spread quickly. Every encounter reinforced the same chilling reality: humans were untouchable. Back on Earth, humans remained unaware of the galaxy's caution. Fleet commanders trained, scientists tested alien technology, and engineers repaired stations and ships. Their progress was steady, intentional, and modest, yet every step built a legend. Their power was invisible yet undeniable. And the galaxy learned to respect that. For every empire, the rule was clear: never provoke, never attack, never underestimate. Aggression was not only unwise, it was suicidal. Humans had not demanded respect, yet it was given. They had not shown wrath, yet fear spread naturally. For humans, the lesson was simple: continue to survive, adapt, and prepare. For the galaxy, the lesson was eternal. One species, small and unassuming by appearance, had become a force no empire could challenge. The final message echoed across alien databases, repeated in council chambers and military archives. Never challenge Earth. It was not just a rule, it was a law of survival. A species once considered insignificant had rewritten the balance of power, not through conquest, not through terror, but through intelligence, adaptability, and quiet strength. The humans of Earth continued their work, unshaken, unaware of the legend they had become. Across the stars, alien fleets and empires kept their distance. Diplomats spoke carefully. Commanders acted cautiously. And historians recorded the truth for generations. Humanity had risen to a position none could deny, none could threaten, and none could forget. In the end, Earth remained calm, ordinary in its daily life, yet extraordinary to the galaxy. Its people had survived, thrived, and demonstrated a power far beyond appearance. The legend of humanity was complete, a species underestimated by all, yet feared and respected by every empire. And as the stars watched silently, the galaxy knew this truth would endure forever. Never challenge Earth.